1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome to Rock the Cash Bar. I'm Ben Mowbray.
And I'm Diane Gallagher.
Every week we pick one song and do a deep dive into the lyrics and explain the different ways they've been interpreted.
We will also discuss how the song connected to us on a personal level, focusing on all the embarrassing details.
Glad to have you here. Enjoy the show.
So would you please welcome Diane Gallagher and Ben Mowbray.
Thank you, Andy. Diane, welcome to the Cash Bar. How are you? You're coming? There you go.
I think Jeremy wants me over there. Are we okay video-wise? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. You are a small but mighty crowd, and I'm so thankful that I was able to throw this together in like a week, and you guys showed up. Thank you so much.
Why are we putting the most telegenic person in the corner?
Because there's a camera right there, and I think this is my good side. Maybe. So in 2022, my New Year's resolution was to do a live podcast. And then in 2023, my New Year's resolution was to do a live podcast. So what do you think my New Year's resolution is in 2024?
To dump the podcast entirely.
It's to lose 20 pounds. But I'm so glad we're doing this, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. So yeah, what do you want to do? What are we
I
going to
can
do,
help
Ben?
you lose 20 pounds. If you live right next to me, you will lose 20 pounds. You eat what I eat. You drink what I drink. You smoke what I smoke. And you will lose 20 pounds in 90 days, I guarantee you.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Your husband and your child will no longer be proud of you.
That's all right. That's all right. I don't know how proud they are of me anyway. I don't work and I do a podcast. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I'm so excited for what you have planned because I have no idea the story.
You have no idea how this works?
No.
Okay. We're stealing a podcast. We're stealing my favorite podcast. It's called The Dollop. Now, on The Dollop, each week, comedian Dave Anthony reads a story from American history to his friend, Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about. It's an awful lot of fun. We got very lucky and we were able to bring in our favorite podcast guest to come in and do this with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to the Riot's headliner this evening, Mr. Greg Warren.
Woo,
Greg. G-Rock.
Over there.
My former roommate.
Yes.
Yes.
Greg, welcome back. Every time Greg was on the podcast, he said that he has the worst taste in music, but it was our best episode. So
yeah, I think I was told several times I have the worst taste in music by my friend Jeremy. Several times. I think one time he was trying to be nice and called it eclectic.
okay.
But,
All right.
yeah, he also said it was horrible.
We also wrote an entire pilot for a TV show based on how bad your music tastes are.
Oh,
Yeah, it was you and McCrae, right?
Me and Mike McCrae wrote a pilot about how bad Greg's music tastes are.
Yeah.
very nice. Would have liked to have seen that. All right.
Where is that pilot now?
Oh.
Hmm?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I was in it though, was I? That's how bad my music tastes.
No, I traded Mike and Greg for the guitar player from the Flaming Lips.
Oh.
Ooh,
Oh, that's good. That's,
not a bad trade.
yeah,
Not a
that
bad.
was, Ernie Brolio for Lou Brock is what that sounds like. Right?
All right. We're lying a little when we say that we have no idea what the topic is going to be about, because we do know what the topic is going to be about, because our good friend, Mr. Rob Mungle, is constantly talking to us about this story. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Soul Finger Sweet Boogie,
Watch your
the
head.
Right Reverend Mr. Rob Mungle.
Rob. Woo! Don't trip on these chords. Okay.
All right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Mungle, our sweet Santa, has prepared a tale for us about Live Aid. Are you guys familiar with Live Aid?
Yeah. Yes.
If you're not-
good, because I'm not.
Rob, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here on the show.
Thank you
for
very
being
much for
here.
joining
Thank
us. I really
This is going to
appreciate
be great, man.
Yeah.
It's right in my wheelhouse.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
And to be joined on the dais with the king of peanut butter himself, G-Rock Warren.
Yeah, man.
What an honor.
it. You are the king of peanut butter.
Your special's so good.
Oh,
it's so
thanks,
good,
man.
Greg.
Thanks.
We're not going to talk
In
about
fact,
Greg
let's
instead
just
of you,
screw
by the
this
way.
and just do the special.
No, let's not do that.
All right, let's do this.
So that's me, huh?
Mhm.
All right. How old are you, Diane?
I am 46.
When
No
were you
way,
born?
really?
You were born in
77.
77. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're 41.
43, 1980.
43, and you're
55.
69.
What?
Yeah,
What?
right. Just slightly older than me. So you guys were alive
69?
July
Right on
13th.
Huggins' tail.
Yeah. So you were alive July 13th, 1985.
July 13th.
July 13th. Were all of y'all alive?
1985.
Some of y'all were alive July 13th, 1985.
Year of
Yes.
our Lord, J-Town. Okay, there are
When-
some Dollop fans in the house.
Yeah.
I was.
When the greatest rock concert of all time occurred,
Mhm.
and the morning of that day, when the announcement came on, it's 12 o'clock in London and 7 a.m. in Philadelphia. This is Live Aid. Nobody?
No.
Nobody remembers nothing?
I no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was,
Well-
a junior in high school, but I don't remember
Yeah.
that. I mean,
I was a junior
who
too.
was awake in Philly at 7 a.m.?
I'm glad you asked that question, Greg. Funny you should ask. But I too was a junior.
Okay.
And I had been waiting for Live Aid for the 2 weeks.
No way, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was so excited. The problem was it was on MTV, and we did not have MTV.
No.
Oh.
And so when you look at Live Aid, you have to look at it from a couple of ways, ladies and gentlemen. You have to, one, from a cultural and pop cultural standpoint, and two, an historical reality of what happened at the time and what came after it.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And thirdly, you have to understand it from the perspective of Rob Mungle watching it
Yeah.
because he didn't have MTV, and him and his buddy went to Town Square Mall in Pasadena where there was an electronics store, and they had MTV.
Oh my
yeah.
You
God.
watched Live Aid at
I
Radio
watched
Shack?
Live Aid at basically a Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Because the guy who ran the place was so he got seats not unlike what we have here and placed them in the store so we could watch it on what was then considered a big screen TV.
That's awesome.
It was one of the ones with the 3 colors in the front.
That's
You know?
amazing.
And because they had MTV and we got to watch all of Live Aid.
That's whoever was like the assistant manager at that Radio Shack was probably had to sell it hard.
Yeah.
No, Gerald, these guys are going to come in, man, and it's a goodwill thing, and they're going to
Yeah.
start buying stuff. No,
Yeah,
They're gonna buy stuff that
didn't
day.
sell
you know, they
a
don't have
fucking thing.
MTV, but they're going to buy some stuff, man. This is a good idea.
I'll tell you who made money
This is
that day.
grassroots marketing.
The people who had the James Coney Island in the mall made a shit ton of money because that's all where we went in. Now, you don't know.
VCRs for Africa, Gerald. VCRs for Africa.
Oh God, yeah. So you don't know about Live Aid at all.
I know about it. Yeah,
You know
I know
of
what
it.
it was.
All right.
It was
Well, for those of you who are 5 and didn't know anything about it, yeah, the Christmas before, Bob Geldof of the Boomtown Rats. Anyone familiar with the Boomtown Rats?
I don't like
Boys
Mondays.
are back in town.
That's
No,
not the
it's
boom.
no-
That is not the Boomtown. That is not the Boomtown Rats.
I don't like Mondays, is what it is.
Yes, I don't like.
Yes.
I want to shoot the whole day down. That's Boomtown.
That's
Rats.
Boomtown Rats.
Yeah. And Bob Geldof became the Muslim name, right?
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
I
Who are
thought
you
that, no,
thinking of?
Geldof became
No. No.
Jeremy.
Who is he thinking of?
No.
Did Geldof convert and change his name?
No, you're thinking Cat Stevens,
I don't
right?
think
I'm thinking of
Cat
Cat Stevens.
Stevens.
Yeah, you're thinking
Yes.
of Cat Stevens.
You are missing the most interesting fact about Bob Geldof, which is
What's
where I
that?
thought you were going. He is whom Michael Hutchins's wife was dating when Michael Hutchins killed himself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Man.
That's the Bob
My
Geldof.
favorite
That's just
thing
what-
about our podcast is and always has been that we have like the most music knower guy in the world
Oh yeah.
just off in the background.
Yeah.
And that's not just, that's only one of the people that Bob Geldof has murdered. And I'll tell you, and I'm not even making that up, it might be in the millions. So Bob Geldof, the year before, had saw a BBC documentary about the plight of Ethiopia. There was the worst drought in the history of Ethiopia at that time, in the history of millions of people were dying, displaced, orphans. It was a very bad scene. So Bob Geldof and however you pronounce
Whoa.
his name, Volvat, I believe it's the day, regardless.
Okay.
But they decided to write a song in order to raise money for the people of Ethiopia.
Okay.
And that song became Do They Know It's Christmas? And you may know it. It's all the different pop stars in Britain. They had George
Bono.
Michael,
Everyone.
Boy George,
Dylan.
Bono,
Bono's-
not Dylan. No.
Am I
Bono
thinking
sang the
Barney?
Bob Dylan was on USA for Africa.
Yeah.
The We Are the World.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get these confused the whole
Many do.
episode. By
Many
the
do.
way.
Which
Many
came
do.
first?
It was Do They Know It's Christmas
Okay.
by Band-Aid, the Geldof thing.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, and that we were talking about the
Yeah,
lyrics
it
earlier.
has.
They
It is
were,
it is the worst case of white savior music in the history
What's
of
the
rock.
best line in that song?
The best line is
Tonight, thank God it's them instead of you.
yeah, that is horrible. That is
Oh, no.
Something about the bitter taste of
Yeah.
tears. Or
Tonight,
something.
yeah,
Oh.
they won't know that Christmas bells are ringing and something, but the sting they get is the bitter sting of tears,
Yeah.
which is actually which is sung by Sting.
This was a Christmas
This
song.
is a Christmas song. Yeah,
It was
My kid did not
it
sing
played
this at the program.
on the Christmas stations, right in between Little Drummer Boy and Deck the Halls.
went to number 1 in Britain.
Yeah.
Got as high as number 3 in the U.S. So they raise a shit ton of money. Can we say ton? Okay.
Yeah.
For the cause. And so after that, it became evident that the next step is to do a concert to raise money, a worldwide concert. And Geldof had huge ideas. He had huge goals. He wanted to be the first event ever broadcast simultaneously around the world. Never been done. Nothing like that. The only the thing
Elvis.
closest, no, not around the world. Not around the world. The only thing closest to that was the previous Olympics. And they used, I think, 3 satellites to broadcast the Olympics. Geldof was going to require 14. Never been done before. And so they have to put big acts in this thing. This is going to raise a ton of money
Yes.
for the plight of Africa.
Yeah.
Nobody signed on.
Oh.
Nobody signed on. Couldn't get. The first person to sign on was Adam Ant.
Oh.
Not exactly going to move tickets. Adam Ant.
No.
And the Boomtown Rats. They were available too.
How'd they get them?
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually kind of like both of them.
So in his
I would've been
wisdom, in order to attract the acts that would be required for a worldwide 2 billion person audience, he decided that we have to get the big acts through lying. And what he originally did was he started with, he would call Elton John and say, "Hey, Elton, Queen is in. Don't you want to be in?" Queen was not in. He would then call Queen and say, "Hey, Queen, Elton John." Ironically, Queen is calling Elton John and saying, "Hey, Queen."
Well, that's how
Queen
Diane
is
got
in.
me to do this thing.
Yeah. And he did
I
this
said
with a
Nate
number of
Bargatze's
people.
going to be here.
Yeah, she was like, Mungle's in. I don't know why.
So he does this a couple of times and gets Elton John and he gets Paul McCartney. So he get the first 2 down. And so then he holds the press conference in front of the entire world to announce Live Aid. They're going to do it in London. And originally they planned to do it in New York in Giant Stadium. It's going to be Wembley in London, Giant Stadium in New York. That's what they had hoped to do.
Okay.
Giant Stadium was not available. They tried to move heaven and earth to get Giant Stadium, could not get it. So they moved to Philadelphia. We had RFK Stadium available, and they said, "We'll do it here."
Wait a minute. It's Veterans Memorial.
RFK Stadium then.
RFK is
RFK.
DC, I think.
No, RFK, JFK, yeah, RFK is in Philadelphia.
You guys
No, it's
get
not.
This,
It's-
get this
it's-
right, guys.
It's DC. I was right about that Cat Stevens thing.
Fair enough. They do it in Philadelphia. They decide to move to
It's
Philadelphia.
Veterans in Philadelphia.
It's not bad. Trust me for this. I'll look it up here in a minute.
I know I'm right on
I know.
this.
Okay. Anyway,
I think I might be right on the... Now I'm starting to think I'm right on the Cat Stevens.
but they have to do it in Philadelphia, regardless of the stadium. All right. So they're doing it in Philadelphia, and Geldof decides to use this to his advantage. Since they couldn't get in New York, and he really wanted it to be in New York, couldn't do it. He says, "Well, we decided since this is something we're trying to give back to the world, we're going to do it in Philadelphia, which is the city of brotherly love."
Wow.
And so that's why we chose Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And so they make
Smooth.
this announcement, and then he says, we're going to read
Throw
off.
batteries at Bono for Africa.
So he starts reading off, okay, who's going to be a part of the show? Elton John. Elton John had said yes. Elton John, Queen, The who had not played together in 10 years. Led Zeppelin. Blah, blah, blah. Runs
Wait a
off
minute.
names without not having even
bullshitting?
spoken to him.
I think
Also bullshit.
Led Zeppelin had some deaths at that point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but also
Skinner's gonna play.
you're gonna leave Ant out of this thing when he was the
Adam
was the first guy
I was the first guy.
Like Adam Ant, the only guy involved in this, less famous than Bob Geldof.
Yeah. And so he rounds off the names of people who have not been contacted and not said yes.
Elvis is
Chief
gonna be-
among, we're going to raise the ghost of Elvis. Chief among them, The Who did not like each other and hadn't played together in almost 10 years. So Pete Townsend rings up Geldof and says, hey, man, we never agreed to this. And he famously tells him, listen, I had my press conference. You can hold yours to tell the world while you're too busy on a Saturday to play for 20 fucking minutes for the children of Africa.
I fucking respect the hustle of this guy.
And he got The who had hated each other.
So
and
you
did-
don't want to feed the children of Africa? Is
Yeah.
that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So you're just going to let them die?
Yeah.
Great. Happy Christmas to
Go
you.
tell
mother-
everybody that.
Which,
now I heard something about Zeppelin on this.
Yes.
that I heard they were terrible. They
Yes.
refused to have any of that on
Well, there's-
the DVD.
there's a story about this.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Well, they got Phil Collins to play drummer, right?
Yeah. Phil Collins played on both shows.
And they
played in Wembley.
blamed him.
Well, he played in Wembley. Phil Collins did. He did Against All Odds, I think. Anyway, played a song on the piano, got on the Concorde, flew to New York, flew down to Philadelphia, performed again at RFK Stadium.
Veterans.
And so they played and plays on plus. Now, Led Zeppelin had broken up, obviously, hadn't played together in years, just like The Who. However, Robert Plant was on tour in the United States, I believe in New York.
The
And
Honey
Jimmy,
Drippers?
maybe.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page was in the Firm at this time.
Yeah.
They were on tour on the East Coast. So they agree, and they call up John Bonham because he wasn't doing anything because he's John Bonham, and nobody gives a fuck about the bass player. Anyway, so they all meet up, not having rehearsed. They don't have a drummer because he's dead.
Wait a second. Point of order. Bonham's the drummer who died.
John Bonham.
Yeah.
I meant John Paul Jones.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
John
Yeah,
Paul
John
Jones.
Bonham did not do it. He didn't want to do it.
No,
Yeah.
no, he so badly didn't want to do it that he choked on his own vomit
they
5
put
years
Phil
before.
Collins in there, and they kind of told Phil it was like, hey, you're just going to hang out and goof around. Well, he didn't really practice. And
Yeah.
they were terrible. They were
Yeah.
terrible, and they blamed Collins, which
They had two drummers, actually.
you can't blame Collins, man. I would have liked to seen Robert Plant try to sing Su Su Studio without any rehearsal. I mean,
Yeah. They actually had two drummers. They had Page wanted Phil Collins. Plant wanted Tony Thompson, who had played with Chick and the Power Station. Power Station played there, so he was available. So they had two drummers, but they had no sound equipment. They had no speakers, so either drummer could hear what anybody was doing. And that's why it sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And you can find it on YouTube. It is garbage. It sounds like a group of high school kids playing Stairway to Heaven.
Oh my God.
And the MTV idiot who's hosting the thing, this was the worst. They announced, okay, ladies and gentlemen, here they are. I think it was Dan Aykroyd who introduced them. But he was like, ladies and gentlemen, Led Zeppelin. And then the MTV guy who's hosting it, he's like, yeah, this is it. The greatest reunion. And then he reads off the set list. Like, no, there's no surprises. They're going to play rock and roll, and they're going to play freaking Stairway.
What?
And we're like, no, don't give it away, dummy. But he
Yeah.
did, and the warbling, and Plant had the lyrics, because there's 5,000 lyrics to Stairway. They were on the floor of the stage on different cue cards.
he didn't know the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven.
And you could see him reading it.
My
as he's
cousin
singing
knew
it.
it when he
Oh
was
my
9.
God.
Yeah. And that's neither drummer could hear each other, so nobody knew when to do the big thing. But
Yeah.
and it was horrible. And Led Zeppelin wanted it to be destroyed.
Yeah.
They did not want
shit.
any record of it.
I heard
Yeah.
this though, like it was really bad, and then they did do a reunion a little bit later, and they got John Bonham, and it still sucked. And then they did it again, and it was good. Like, but the second time around, it's not Phil's fault. I'm sticking up for Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Some of his best work, by the way, guest star on Miami Vice. For about a 5-episode run.
I'm
I'm
learning
telling you,
so
he
much.
was so
I had
good.
No
man.
idea.
Yeah, he was really good on it. Yeah.
I mean, he blew my mind with the Alamo. There's so much to learn about Phil Collins.
He's a national treasure.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When you're telling me I don't know the story of Live Aid, you were not full of shit. I'm sitting here like, what? I was thinking of the other thing.
The other thing?
Farm Aid.
That was
Farm
really,
Aid came after it.
Yeah.
that was Willie
Because of
Nelson.
Live Aid, because Bob Dylan was playing on stage with the Rolling Stones. Well, Keith Wood,
Okay.
Wooden, anyway. But he was playing on stage with them, and he said, "Hey, can't some of this money go to the American farmer? Because he really needed to have it." And that's where the idea for Farm Aid started.
Got
He
it.
did it.
But then what was that thing with Whoopi Goldberg and Robin Williams? And
Comic relief.
okay.
You know what it was, Greg? Virtue signaling. It was virtue signaling.
That's
And
what
it
all
was
this
sick
is.
to
I
look
get
at.
them mixed up.
You know how I did.
Live Aid really was the first one to all those jump started after Live Aid.
Yeah.
Because it'd never been done before. The closest thing was like the concert from Bangladesh that George Harrison did about 10 years earlier. That was the closest
Never even
thing.
heard of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
nobody's heard of it.
Yeah.
That's why. And then Live Aid came around, and then everything after that.
But the thing, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I mean, the big deal was like Freddie Mercury, right? I mean, Queen,
Yeah.
that was like the
Sure, everybody still Queen is, they steal the show. But what they don't tell you is
Oh boy.
who you want to be the person to follow that,
Oh God.
right? I don't
Man.
care who you are. Like the greatest performance in the history of live performances for 20
Oh,
minutes just
God.
occurred, and he burned the fucking stage down. Who can follow that?
Adam
was
Ant?
It was David Bowie. That's who. And he followed that shit.
Oh, my God.
You go back and watch it.
man.
He's like, Queen who? I'll show you Queen.
Oh.
Yeah, I bet he did. He's the only guy that with like the cool.
The only one.
Yeah.
What was the biggest song he had at that
That
time?
was he did Modern Love and
Okay.
Oh, the Bowie
it was-
people don't like that song though.
Yeah, well, he killed it. And he
I
did
mean, I like it.
and a concert for Africa, what song would David Bowie do? We Can Be Heroes.
We Could Be Heroes.
And just brought the house down.
Nice.
It's ugly good.
Yeah, that's man. I thought you were gonna say
Adamant.
Adam Ant,
that they
yeah.
threw Ant up after Queen and ate it. I'm just having these flashbacks to having to follow Lavelle Crawford at Last Comic Standing, and they were
You're
like
I know the
celebrating that he's gonna win this whole thing, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"And next up, Greg Warren."
Can you imagine being all the bands there and they see Queen just burning down the stage, right?
What do you think
And
Bowie
like,
was doing? He's like, ah.
I got this. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's all
God.
right.
Oh yeah, David Bowie standing backstage going, "I've finished this guy off a number of times before."
"Yeah." I would have been whining. I would be like, "He's going long, guys. Mercury's going long." We all said it was just 3 songs. It was 3 songs. It's going long.
Yeah. You
Can't follow
and,
this.
And people, anybody who watched the show, and I saw it live in the Radio Shack thing of Town Square Mall.
That's beautiful.
As a meeting of James Cornell, U2 would have been the band that stole it had it not been for Queen. U2 was an amazing, and they only did 2 songs.
What'd they do?
They did Pride in the Name of Love, and then
No, they didn't get to Pride.
no, they did. That's right. They cut it
Yeah.
early.
Yeah,
Oh, I forget what the other.
they did Bad, but
Bad.
they did Bad for about 15 minutes
Yeah.
because Bono jumped into the stands to go hug and kiss a pretty lady.
Yeah,
'Cause he
Oh,
thought it would be
Jesus.
like great on the cameras, and it's hilarious because like if you know, like I'm crazy U2 fan.
Yeah,
Like if you
yeah.
know the inner dynamics of U2, to watch Larry Mullen stare daggers at the back of Bono's head.
Really?
And then just shoot glances over at Edge, like call your boy back.
Oh.
Just got a little bit off the reservation.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
U2 kind of has a weird sort of police thing going on where like the drummer really wants to fucking kill the front man. And we all sort of understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, like-
but it's and you don't know what else they played though?
No, that's they didn't play anything else because Bono jumped into the stands. He's dancing with this woman, and then because of security, like he can't get back on stage. So they just keep going through the help me with the musical vocabulary. They're going through the chord progressions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They just keep playing.
What do you mean he
going.
can't get back on because he's
Because
of
it was
security?
at Wembley, it was an
What do you
elevated
mean? Hey,
stage.
I'm Bono.
Like,
I'm
move
sorry.
the thing.
No, like, you can't
It's
physically
Wembley. It's an
get
old
up.
Motte and Bailey castle. So they flooded the moat.
They had an elevated portion of the stage where they played, and then a secondary level.
Yeah.
where
What did he crowd surf?
And then the archers and the oil
below
guys
that
just
was below that were the plebeians or the mortals. And so he went on 3 levels to get to the mortals to dance with the girl,
Oh, okay.
who he claims, and she backs up that she was being crushed by the crowd. And she couldn't
was
breathe, and he
being a
saw
martyr.
her
He was
in a
saving her.
fit of
It's
chivalry.
always some kind of save the world stuff with him. It's always
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think there's probably more of that coming before the end of this story.
But wait, there's
Yeah.
more.
And so, by all accounts, London was a better show. Just
Who
terms
was
of pure
playing?
talent.
Who was playing Philly?
Philly?
Is that Ant?
And
no, Ant was UK, but
Okay.
Philadelphia.
What did Ant play? Goody Two Shoes?
Probably.
uh,
I don't know. Yeah,
what's
did he
the
have
other one?
another
The
song?
strip. If I strip for you, would you strip for me? That sounded appropriate, right?
Yeah. We're raising money. Play strip for me.
Yeah.
And so, by all accounts, the Philly show was not as star-studded.
Yeah.
They had the Who. In London, they had the Who. They had Elton John. They had David Bowie. They had U2. They had Paul McCartney. They had all these stupid, and not, by the way, not one black performer in London for the Raising Money for Africa. Fun fact.
Bit of an oversight there, I should say.
They tried to compensate for that on the U.S. side. They had realized, they said, this is kind of a whitewashed thing in London, but, London, what are you going to do?
Who'd they get? Who'd they get? 1985?
Michael Jackson
Okay.
turned it down.
Okay.
Oh.
Lionel Richie turned it down.
Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane. Run DMC said yes.
Okay.
Run
all
DMC.
right.
Yeah. And so they were the only rap act.
There's a guy
play.
over there that's got a Run DMC hat. Actually.
Two Live Crew turned it down.
Yeah. But, and in the gloriousness of Run DMC, they played in the concert with all these stars, all these rock superstars. The rap band decided to play King of Rock. So, I'm the King of Rock. There is none higher. Sucker MC's gotta call me sire. I thought that's fucking brilliant. Anyway,
Was this before the Aerosmith Walk This Way?
Yes.
this is
Okay.
about
Yes.
a year before.
Okay.
God, that was
And so
terrible.
Michael
Terrible.
Jackson turns it down.
Aerosmith was a great band in the 70s. A great band at one time.
Was.
Yeah, they did that. Love in an Elevator.
I have beef with it. What happened to
Jamie's
Aerosmith?
got a gun. Come on.
Yeah.
So, all right. And so they finally get 2 black acts. Dionne Warwick,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
that'll move some tickets.
Yeah.
And Tina Turner.
Okay.
Okay.
All
So,
right. We're back.
Tina Turner.
The queen of
Yes.
rock.
Yeah.
Tina Turner. Come
Mm.
on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
Blow
pulled,
one up.
she
at the
blew
time.
a Queen level performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was joined on stage by Mick Jagger. And so they
Okay.
finish
I've-
together.
I remember that performance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
no way.
what?
Jerry says Brian Adams was in
Brian
on this.
Adams.
Welcome. Come on in.
Hello.
Andy Barron, everybody. Everybody say hi, Andy.
There's another one. Hello.
What's up, Timmy?
Come on in.
What did Brian Adams sing? on
Yes.
this?
Love. They did a duet.
Yeah.
What is
That's
oh,
right.
oh, it's only love.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
reckless.
Nice, man.
Yeah. She blew the house away. And so they say, okay, Queen level performance by Tina Turner.
Okay.
Yeah. A rock icon.
Okay.
Who's going to follow that?
Oh boy.
Who do you close the show with
Dead
in
Milkman.
Philly?
Dead Milkman.
Yeah.
Can we pause the show for a second to say that by the time I'm 75, I want my thighs to look like Tina Turner's?
Oh
Like
God.
that's the only
They
reason.
look like
I'm
hers.
staying
Mine look
alive.
like hers right now.
Mm,
Yeah.
Too soon?
That's so
Sorry.
dark, Rob.
So who are you going to get to follow? Tina Turner.
I mean, if you're
In
trying
England-
if you're trying to out thigh, I would go Suzanne Summers is the only one.
Oh. What if that was the answer?
And so, yeah, Philadelphia, you got Tina Turner. Who's going to follow? They do it in London, right? They get Bowie to follow Queen. Who are you going to get
Man, now
to
I don't.
follow Tina Turner?
I hope it's Jeremy Allen White. I love him.
I want a hint, black or white.
It's white.
Okay.
But they think, one of them thinks they're black.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Is Philly band?
Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Hall & Oates
Yeah.
had to follow. And they were joined on stage by another black act they got at the last minute, The Temptations.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Again,
good.
moving tickets, moving the needle.
Hall & Oates is strong. I mean,
Hall &
Yeah,
Oates is-
no, they weren't strong after.
It sounds like you always say you pick bad songs for our podcast. That feels like a Greg Warren pick is a Hall & Oates song.
I like Hall & Oates.
I do too, actually.
I like a lot of them.
You're
Jeremy,
rich,
who's
girl.
the talented one?
Oates.
It's
Daryl Hall.
Daryl Hall. Well, wait, no, I don't know that. I don't know. One of them, he's really good. He's like really. Didn't you tell me he had this show one time where he would invite people to his house and he would tell them, he'd basically show them how he could play their song better than they could?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't. Hold on. I don't know if anyone ever saw Daryl's house. It was on some like. Did you see it? It's he basically has people over to his house and like he talks about how good they are. Essentially, he interviews them and then they start playing a song and he's like, "Oh no, let me show you how that works."
Oh my God.
Here's where you went wrong.
He's insanely talented, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like a show Andy should do for comics,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
for open micers.
Let me edit that joke for you. Yeah.
Oh,
Tighten
for
that
God's
up.
sakes.
Oh my, for God's sakes!
And so at the end of
Take
the
your
show,
stupid hat off while you're on stage.
I'm absolutely confident that Rudyard Kipling himself would have the very best concert for Africa man-eater joke. Like I know we were all
Yeah.
working on it,
Yeah.
but like, just
Man,
let
yeah.
Rudyard himself handle that one. He was good at racism.
Turn a phrase, Rudyard.
Yeah, turning phrases and
Yeah.
being racist. Rudyard was great at both.
Was it Kipling was racist?
Oh dear. Well, he
didn't
was a
know
British
that.
Empire guy. I'm sorry, Mom.
Oh.
He was a real British Empire guy. Like he definitely felt like you guys were better off licking the boot.
Wow.
Really?
Oh yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
that
didn't
about him.
get that in Gunga Din. Read that again.
you missed that subtext.
You know who else I heard was? I shouldn't say it. I don't know this for sure, so I'm not going to say
Who?
something racist.
Was Diane
Gossip.
Gallagher. That's what I heard.
No,
No.
Right. It was.
no, I don't know this for sure, so I'm not going to say it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You
You're
don't.
just gonna. All right. We'll spill the tea later once the mics get off.
Yeah, I'll
Tell me after the show.
Maybe I'll have somebody run the facts on it.
It's Bob Geldof.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not yelled off. It's not.
He might be.
So did Hall & Oates close it out or?
No. On both sides of the Atlantic, they closed it out with an all-star studded performance of a song. In the English side in London, they performed Do They Know It's Christmas
Okay.
on July
Yeah.
13th, 1985. With many of the performers, who were on the original, got to sing. By the way, the London performance, first time Elton John and, this is another part, but Elton John and George Michael performed for the first time together.
Oh yeah.
Don't let the sun
Ooh.
go down on me. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the first time they did it. This is a great one. Now, there's a couple of sources here that go back and forth. But one of the great stories is Bob Geldof started the thing, right? They wanted to have something from the royal family to be there to lend it some credence. And of course, the Queen's far too old. So Diane and Charles decide to go and represent the royal family.
Yes,
Now-
we'd love to come to your concert.
It'd be lovely. I'd say. Geldof is a confirmed.
Wait, the way he's manipulating his jaw, he looks a little bit like Charles. he does look a little bit like Charles.
My mummy is my second cousin. Don't make fun of my jowls.
He does.
You
Holy
got that underbite
my
working.
God.
It's really good.
And so Geldof, a legendary punk, whatever, it eschews the royal family,
Oh.
becomes starstruck that here is Diane and Charles.
Diana.
Goes up, they're in the royal box.
Mhm.
He goes up there taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. Comes word that Charles wants to leave early because he's 74 at this time.
Yeah.
I think.
polo match.
Doesn't want to stay to see Queen. It's 2:00 now.
Charles didn't stay for Queen?
No, they left after a while. Here's the thing.
Rude.
Diane wanted to stay. No, you'll be coming with us, see?
Mm.
So she has to go. That gets word to Geldof that they're leaving soon. She convinces Charles, let me stay and watch Elton. We're dear friends. I would like to see Elton.
But let
Elton
a
John-
princess watch a queen.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And so Elton John is going to play. It gets word down to Geldof that the prince and princess will not be staying for his performance with the Boomtown Rats.
I'm sorry, we have to go.
So guess what? He bumps Elton John.
Like a true showrunner.
Bumps Elton John.
That's awesome.
And Elton John, by account, was furious, throwing a Queen level shit fit in the back because
That's brilliant.
he knows that they're not fucking waiting around.
Has anybody ever seen
They're
any
not
Elton
waiting
John
around.
documentaries? Elton John Furious is a sight to behold.
God, yeah.
So the Boomtown Rats and go two songs nobody's
Giant
ever heard
glasses
of.
flying all over.
Oh my gosh.
Chandeliers being
Broken
broken.
flowers. Looks like a Morrissey
With
concert.
handful of scarves.
Oh man! As an aside, I was doing a show in Chicago at the club, and it's in this like entertainment outdoor mall thing, and we go show up, and there's this giant tribute band there. Like there's thousands people there to see this, and it's an Elton John tribute band, and this guy's really good.
Yeah.
Got the keyboard, got the whole outfit.
Yeah.
Guess what his name is?
What?
Elton Ron.
Oh, you're not even trying. Elton Ron.
And I'm telling you, if I had the cash, I'd get Elton Ron to play at whatever thing I've got going on.
Oh my
Elton
god.
Ron was so good, man, and very committed.
He got bumped by the Boomtown Rat cover band.
We got a
Oh my
couple of
God.
years to plan that 60th anniversary over there. Right? We can get Elton Ron on the phone.
Elton Ron.
All right.
Real quick, one more quick aside, just on that. My husband Corbin really wants to start like an old dad's punk rock band called Dad Kennedy's, and I think
Dad
that would be
Kennedy's?
the best.
Yeah. That's
I
the
like
winner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I approve that message.
yeah, me too.
That's good, man.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And one other aside about the show. Young Rob Mungle, junior in high school.
Yeah.
The only one I wanted to see was reunion of Black Sabbath. All right.
Oh.
Ozzy was on his Ultimate Sin tour at the time, and the other guys were. So they had first time in like 10 years Black Sabbath getting back together. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All
197
of them?
members of them on stage
Yeah,
at the
no,
same
just
time.
the original four.
If you
Okay.
know Rob Mungle, I mean, for 10 years, I would walk into whatever usually the Laugh Stop, whatever comedy club that we were hanging out at that night, and whenever I walked in, I would interrupt a conversation about why it was a crime that Black Sabbath was not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like it was.
Was it him
that
and
was
McRae?
all you talked about for 10 years.
I
And
want to
McRae,
open this
right?
up to everybody except Rob and Jeremy. Name another original member of Black Sabbath.
Is it
Anybody.
shit?
Tony Iommi.
Okay.
I'll accept that.
Andy,
I am totally
Yeah,
out.
he's got nothing.
I can't do another one.
Yeah.
Whoa!
wow, unbelievable. What? Yeah, yeah.
Where was it? McRae and him arguing?
Yeah.
Both
No,
of
but
them?
he and I we agree on that.
Yeah,
Okay,
you know,
okay,
yeah,
well,
they
yeah.
agreed on it. Yeah.
Yeah. We were the.
Bonding over.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I want to see.
Are they in, by the way?
They got
Okay.
it. Yeah. The injustice was.
Are you happy?
Rectified.
You good now?
Yes.
All
That's
right.
the only reason why the city of Cleveland is still standing.
It is, but it seems I don't know. It's given Rob a little less vigor. I don't know.
Yeah. Arguing for Aha being in just doesn't hold the same weight. And Huey Lewis. That's another
It was
episode.
keeping you
Anyway,
young.
So I want to see Black Sabbath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah, I want this is the first time and you hear bam, 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 like I'm finished with my one. Yeah, motherfucker. They're rocking, and MTV decides we have to go back to London.
Oh no.
And I forget, I cannot remember for the life of me who they
Boomtown Rats.
Boomtown Rats.
Yeah.
They cut it off, and so they go back to London for some performance. And we're sitting, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The one we came to sit in the Town Square Mall to see.
You didn't get to see him?
Didn't get to see him. Did not get to see him.
So Black Sabbath was in the U.S.?
They were in the U.S. because Ozzy was on tour.
Just touring. Okay.
Yeah. And so, man, I was so mad.
I'm so sorry.
The Radio Shack almost got a chair to their what they now refer to as a big screen TV. Did we lose Ben?
I think you had to tinkle.
Oh.
It's allowed.
We're getting to the historical part that he is such a...
If I
love
may,
some-
while we're waiting for Ben,
Yeah.
can I share my favorite
Sure.
Live Aid thing?
Please.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, I don't think it was on the MTV version of the broadcast, but the Boy George interview. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I don't know.
So Boy George is so fucked up. It's Boy George and Pete Byrne from Dead or Alive.
Oh yes.
And Boy George
Yes.
literally fell face first into cocaine. I'm not. If you find it, completely white pancake face, and it's actually cocaine.
Oh my god.
So it's Boy George and Pete Byrne, just a mess.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite part of Live Aid.
What I really need to do is find myself a brand new lover.
Oh, that's Dead or Alive.
That's
right?
Dead or Alive.
Yeah,
That's
great.
Pete Burns. Yeah.
That's great.
So Live Aid ends.
Welcome back.
The whole time they're raising money. They're taking phone calls from around the world. Almost 2 billion people watch this thing. 80,000 in hello.
Welcome.
How are you, Caitlin? Everybody say hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
We're wrapping up
80,000
soon.
people live in Philly, about 70,000 in London, right? Average ticket price, $20, by the way.
$20.
$20.
1985.
Yeah.
To see those guys?
To see that,
That's
the greatest
unbelievable.
concert of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
The week before, Bill Graham, the famous producer of American concerts, went round and round with Geldof on certain issues. Some of them were the rights to the film afterwards, some about other stuff. Long story short, Bill Graham had an injunction from a court put on him that he had to be 100 yards away from the stadium on the day of Live Aid.
Really?
It had turned to a war between
Wow.
Geldof
Oh my god.
and Bill Graham. So they go
Is it
through
a
all
send everybody situation like they had the Marines outside?
They had a picture.
Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. They had a picture on the wall of Bill Graham. This man is not allowed into RFK Stadium on the day of Live Aid. So all this goes on. The hubbub goes around. They raise, by all accounts, around $130 million.
Well, all right.
Nicely done, America.
Wow.
Nicely done, London.
Nice.
For the world.
Congratulations.
$130 million in 1985 dollars. That's a lot of
It
money.
was a
You
lot.
can buy a lot of MREs with that.
Can buy a lot of stuff to
Mhm.
end the famine
Mm-hmm.
in Ethiopia.
You could probably irrigate.
Probably do a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Airlifts. There's a whole lot you could do with $130 million.
And both MI6 and the CIA told Bob Geldof that.
Yep.
And they said, there's people you shouldn't work with in Ethiopia because they're in the midst of a civil war. And Bill Geldof famously said, I would shake hands with the devil if that could get food into the mouth of a hungry child.
I mean, the virtue signaling. on
Very
this
noble.
guy.
Very noble.
Yeah.
A noble sentiment, if not very dumb. So by all accounts from historians and different people, they say that anywhere between 25% and 40% of the suffering was relieved.
Okay.
Pretty
They
good.
did a lot of good work
Wow.
Okay.
with the money, but it's hard to quantify.
Sure.
And so they'll say 25, and that perhaps thousands of lives may have been saved.
Okay.
But in the other side,
Uh-huh.
the money they had to give to was a Ethiopian general warlord whose
Uh-huh.
name I can't even begin to pronounce, was running the show there. And he took probably half of that
and bought arms and weapons from the Soviet Union. And ended up killing hundreds of thousands of people in the Civil War.
Jesus Christ.
And so many historians, anything that was accomplished in terms of saving life was probably offset
Undone.
by the Civil War.
You know what you
that
could
ensued.
buy from the Russians with $130 million in
Yeah.
1985?
Yeah, a lot of AKs and
Really?
and guns.
They just had to
my-
change the
yeah.
song, like "Arm the World."
Now, in their defense, many people say the USA for Africa probably did as much harm because they had fell through some of the same traps.
Yeah,
So it wasn't just Live Aid that did it, but
it was good intentions, right?
you know what? That's what the road to hell's paved with. I'm told.
Yes, exactly.
Good old American Foursquare, good intentions.
Yeah.
That is right.
And so after that, of course, there were many more concerts after that. There was, you know, the Farm Aids and the stuff like that. They tried to revive the magic in the early 2000s on the 30th anniversary. 25th anniversary. I don't remember, but they called it Live 8. It was on 8 continents simultaneously.
Okay.
The big get for that was Pink Floyd got back together
Yes.
for that one. And there's a great shot of David Gilmour playing guitar, staring at what's his name?
Roger Waters.
Roger Waters.
As you can see the look on David Gilmour's face that he says, "I've only got 8 more minutes with this cocksucker." And I'm probably going to get a tax write-off or kids are going to be saved. But he has just the most look of disdain on his face while they're banging through comfortably.
I can't believe that even happened.
Yeah.
That they did that. Wait, do you still have a heart out at 6? Do we need to dismiss Greg?
Oh,
How much more
it's
we
not
got in
hard,
store?
but I got a little bit of time. But
Okay.
Yeah, I got to go
Okay.
get ready for the
Okay.
comedy show.
That's about the extent of it. Hey, fuck you.
No, I didn't mean it like
I
that.
didn't take it that way.
I make history come alive.
I love this. I guarantee you, this is more entertaining from whatever I'm going to be saying. This is great. I love.
I got 45 minutes on Nixon. You ain't going anywhere.
Let's be honest though, Greg. The second that you realized that you were right on RFK and Veterans Stadium, you were fucking done with it.
I know, and I'm not
You had
so
your
sure.
Costanza moment, and you were like, "Thank you."
That's it. I'm going back to the source.
Yeah.
Yourselves.
Well, when you're in there, Google Cat Stevens too.
JFK Stadium. Thank you.
No, I didn't. I said it was veterans. Well, is that JFK?
It's
I don't know.
JFK.
RFK
Stadium.
is in DC.
Yeah, that's where I got mistaken. JFK.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were both wrong.
Okay. Good job, guys.
I remember.
Feed the
The only reason I know it's in Philly is that when I was I went to the military academy. I went to Army, and they had the Army Navy game every year in Philly, and we had to do this thing. We'd stand in like formation, and they'd yell. You'd be like, "Warren, give me the days." And I'd have to memorize like all these. Sir, there is 200 days until graduation. There are 100 days until ring weekend. There are 56 days until Army beats the hell out of Navy at Veterans Memorial Stadium. and I was, I go Veterans Memorial Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Warren? Pittsburgh? Did they move Veterans Memorial Stadium from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, Warren? How did they do it? Did they just pick it all up at one time, or did they go brick by brick, Warren?
That's awesome.
Shit, that's where Live Aid was.
Was that the story of Live Aid, Rob?
That's pretty much it. I
That was
think.
awesome.
That was awesome, Rob.
Thank
I
you.
had
was so
literally
great,
no
buddy.
idea.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Can we come back next
Let's feed the world together, all right? Let's feed the world together.
Man.
Greg, thank you so much
thanks,
for
guys.
doing this.
I love
Everybody's
you
going to
guys.
go watch Greg tonight, right? Everybody in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Love the podcast. I love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you for being like one of our favorite guests.
I love it. Man.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Bye.
Nicely done. Good luck tonight. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
You can
Well
stay.
done,
Do you want to
Winston.
stay?
I'm staying.
If you can stay.
Okay.
Jeremy, did you want to pop into that seat or you want to stay there?
I am going to stay where I am.
Okay. Did anybody put a song in the box? We're about to wrap it up, but bring him over then. I'm so excited.
Oh, there are tons.
All right. Oh, do you have one? All right, throw it in.
Thank you, Andy.
All we're going to do is make fun of you and see if the crowd agrees.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. The first name we're going to draw here, guilty pleasure song, Ben Mowbray.
Wait, that's not me.
No, it's not. It's Adam
Adam
Ant.
Ant, Goody Two
Goody
Shoes.
Two
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I recognize that handwriting. Dynamite drop in, Carly.
All right, this is from Jeff. You spin me right round. We were just
Right
talking
round,
about
baby,
that.
Right round, like a record spinning, round, round, right round.
Is this a guilty pleasure or is this just a pleasure? What does the audience agree? Okay, hold on. Round of applause if it's guilty. Round of applause if it's pleasure. Yeah, this is a good song. Are you just kidding me? Yeah, I mean, it was in The Wedding Singer.
It's having the hangover afterlife as well, too.
Yeah, it really
I can't
is.
think of that song without thinking about those movies anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I will always think of the David Burns, or think of the video, but Adam Sandler, I mean, you're going to picture him in The Wedding Singer doing it as well, right? All right, Tim King, Two Princes, Spin Doctors. Oh my God.
Yes. That's... If you want to call me baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that is a guilty pleasure song.
The Dumb Love Podcast girls almost made us do this for an episode when it was their turn. And I almost made us do this song one time as well.
Well, so you and I were talking about weird music festivals. One of my first concerts ever, this is like 90s when they were just like, I don't know, it's all on MTV, just throw it on a stage. One of the first concerts I ever saw, Screaming Trees opened.
Okay.
Soul Asylum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spin Doctors.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes, Mark Lanigan and the weird Two Princes guy on the same show.
The hodgepodge, man.
Soul Asylum's Runaway Train still makes me cry.
It's so good.
What's the Runaway Train?
Yeah, it's like it still gets me.
I wanted to, by the way, that's the one band that I really wanted to do on here that we never did because that such a well-revered indie rock band before they broke.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing. They were considered the next Replacements.
Yep.
Yeah.
And up in that right before they broke, everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna be amazing," and then they were like, we'll just kind of make some pop albums.
Yeah. There was a lot to talk about because with Runaway Train, they famously did the video. It was about runaway kids. So they had the runaway hotline and they showed pictures of runaway teenagers from all over America. And they tracked down several dozen of them.
Oh.
And
now this may surprise you, but teenagers don't run away for no fucking reason.
Right back into the abusive hands of their father.
Exactly. A lot of them were brought back to families that they did not want to be around.
And did you know every year one more of those kids gets released from Dave Perner's hair?
That's awesome.
Here's one.
Little known fact, half the runaway kids were conscripted to fight in the Ethiopian Civil War with firearms paid for by Bob Geldof. It's a full circle podcast, kids.
That's where I should end it. That is the closing joke. But you guys put so many names in here, and she's ready to set her bar up. So let's just do a couple more and get out of here. All right. Jonathan.
Stola Lerma.
Thank You by Alanis Morissette.
Are we backwards? Are you I want to thank you. Is that where you're going? That's Dido, right?
That's Dido. Thank you, India. Oh,
okay, yes.
Her voice doesn't rub you absolutely raw. Okay. Round of applause. Is that guilty? Who thinks it's a pleasure? All right, about half and
It's
half.
a guilty pleasure in the Broadway musical that they do of her.
Do they do
There's
the whole?
Yeah, and there's an Alanis Morissette musical.
Wow.
It just played here in Houston.
I had no idea. All right.
And I hate musicals. How the fuck do I know that?
This is from my sister, Carly Mowbray, and it's Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. Yeah, what a nightmare that was. We're gonna get back together next year and we're gonna do Woodstock 99.
Does it just
Fewer
gets you-
people died at Woodstock 99 than Bob Geldof murdered by holding Live Aid.
I didn't know how rough Woodstock 99 was until like last year.
Yeah.
Because like in 1999, I was only reading like press clippings and it was just like things like, oh, there was some fires and some a little bit of like argy-bargy at Woodstock 99. Until I saw that documentary last year, I didn't realize that they'd like taken down towers and knocked
it
over
was
walls
bad.
and set
If
fire
you look
to
closely,
everything.
all the people burning stuff in Woodstock 99 showed up on January 6th, 20 years later.
Including Anthony Kiedis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scar tissue that I like to cause. All right, I'm not Weird Al.
We'll do one more because I think everyone agrees this is the best song ever. Isabella Stolarma, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
And,
Are you kidding? Woo!
I want to feel the heat with somebody.
You shall feel no guilt for wanting to bring the house down when that song comes on. All right, you guys, we got to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for coming out for our final podcast.
Much appreciated. And Diane, thank you. This podcast is Diane's thing. Diane drives the bus on this. She organizes it. She edits it. She keeps the trains running on time. This was your thing, and thank you very, very much for having me along for the ride.
agreeing to do this with me. It's been a great 3.5 years. I had a really great time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys, on the back, there's some merch that you can have. Just take it. Take the stickers, everything. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3.